Larry, let's take a look at the distance medley relays.
Dwight Tennessee held the early lead on the DMR, and it was Sarah Bowman on the anchor that actually wound up losing the lead to this woman, Bree Feldnagel, the anchor woman, a sophomore at North Carolina. North Carolina, with a team of Megan Kaltenbach, Tyra Johnson, Georgia Klaus, and Feldnagel, set an American collegiate record. In the men's DMR, leading for Stanford was Russell Brown. He had already run a 4-minute mile to qualify for the final a day later, and it was his dream to hold on to this victory against Cal, and the two schools so close battled it out over the last stretch, with Brown holding off Davis from Cal Berkeley, and a narrow victory for the Cardinals.
Russell Brown holding him off, and the Stanford Cardinals celebrates a narrow victory, just 0.13 of a second, and that dream come true was presented by Disney Theme Parks. Coming up, we move from track to field, where a multitude of events are happening simultaneously. Pole vault, high jump, shot put, long jump, all next from Fayetteville.
The NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships, presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Let's take a look back at some Friday field events. First up, the men's pole vault. Mark Johnson of Auburn trying to help out his Tigers. The bar at 18 feet a half inch. Third attempt. Watch the strange way he gets sideways when he bends the pole. Very odd, but he squares it up on top and just brushes it on the way down with his chest. And the bar comes off. Now this is senior Brad Gebauer of McNeese State. Pole vault really low this year. Tommy Skipper of Oregon, the prohibitive favorite, getting hurt the week of these championships, and Gebauer with a little brush gets over the bar at 18 feet a half inch, and that's all it took to win the pole vault here in Fayetteville. A little brush with the thigh stays on, so Gebauer winning it over Rory Quiller and Tyson Byers of Washington State getting third.
Many track athletes are lean and fit. These guys are fit, but you wonder where the beef is? It's here in the weight throw. This is Corey Martin, a senior at Auburn, trying to get some important points for them early in the competition. They were ranked as high as the top 3 in men's indoor track and field this year to win the NCAAs, but have slipped of late. He winds up in second place at this point, and this is the throw of Igor Agafonov of Kansas and Russia. With a 77 feet 5 1/4 inch, he takes the title. The long jump saw Texas's Trey Hardy, a terrific all-around decathlete, in second place at this point in the long jump. And he sails out 25 feet 8 1/4 inches was his best attempt on his third effort, and puts him in second place at that point. The leader in the competition, Tony Belt, the sophomore from an up-and-coming program, the University of Louisville. And Belt absolutely belts it, gets the whole board, gets out with a nice lead leg leap of 26 feet 1 3/4 of an inch to win as a sophomore the men's long jump.
The women's high jump, prohibitive favorite, sensational sophomore Destiny Hooker of Texas coming in with a 6'5" yearly leader, struggling. Her third and final attempt with the bar at 6'2 1/4", an easy intermediate height for her usually, and it was not to be. Hooker, at 6 feet 4 inches tall, has a huge advantage over her shorter compatriots, but ends up third. This is Laverne Spencer, the sophomore from the University of Georgia, with the bar at 6'2 1/4". She just sails over easily with a brush on the way down. Bar stays on. Now her teammate, senior Patty Sylvester, with a bar at 6'2 1/4". They can go 1-2 if she makes this third attempt. Sylvester very deliberate with her approach, and then an easy clearance. So it's 1-2 for the Lady Bulldogs. And Destiny Hooker, a huge disappointment for the Lady Longhorns. Then Spencer tries for it 6'3 1/2", or should I say Sylvester, not to be, but they do go 1-2. Patty Sylvester wins it over her teammate. Destiny Hooker has to take third. Then in the women's long jump, LSU really hoping to get some points here. They're normally very good in sprints, hurdles, and jump. Catherine Coleman, the junior, unable to get in the top 8 after her first 3 jumps. So no points in the offing for LSU in the long jump. But UCLA sophomore Rhonda Watkins went nuts in the 3rd round. All the women jumping right around the 20-foot mark, and Watkins put everything together. Of course, she's coached by world record holder Mike Powell. That doesn't hurt. 21 6 3/4 on her 3rd round jump, and outdistances Brenda Faluda of Miami to win for the Bruins.
The pressure and the pulse rates were high for the Arizona State team as Jessica Presley and her teammate Sarah Stevens needed big points in this event for Arizona State to be able to have a shot at the NCAA women's title. And Presley came through, throwing 55 10.5 to move into 3rd place. This is Michelle Carter, whose dad, Mike Carter, was the Olympic silver medalist in this event. And the young lady from University of Texas winds up throwing 59 5.5, moving her into 2nd place. And Sarah Stevens, with a throw of her life, the young sophomore winds up winning the women's shot put at 59.7.
And they're both with Quint.
Jessica, what does it mean to go head-to-head with Texas and walk away with so many points?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. This is what we've worked for all years, to just get a national championship, and we've won down a bunch of other events to go, so it's exciting.
Sarah, what happened on that last throw? Take us through it.
Michelle Carter was behind me by, I don't even know how much, and her last throw, she jumped ahead of me by 1 centimeter. So it was kind of one of those, either go home 2nd place by 1 centimeter, or you give it all you got and see what happens, and that's kind of what I did.
How were you able to pull off the best throw of your life?
I just knew what I had to do, and we worked on it every day in practice. I do it all the time. I've been throwing for I don't know how many years now, so it just is kind of one of those things. It's time to shine, and this is where you got to get it done.
Congratulations, Arizona State 1st and 3rd. Back to you, Dwight.
Thanks, Quint, in that interview. And the shot put for women really sets us up for how this women's title should go here at the NCAA championships. Dwight Stones along with Larry Rawson. And you have to say, Larry, that this team title on the women's side probably going to come down to ASU and LSU.
Right, and well said, Dwight. I think ASU is the slight favorite here. Let's take a look at our Coke storyline. These are the talented athletes for ASU that need to come through. Amy Hastings has to do well in the 3,000 meters after struggling a bit in the 5,000 just yesterday. And they have the 2 top-ranked athletes in the pentathlon and the pole vault still to appear. They've gotten 16 points in the throws events, and I think they're well on their way to a title. You can never, however, count out the LSU Lady Tigers, who have 11 indoor titles.
All right, now that takes care of the women's story. Now let's take a look at the men's story. It was a 3-way battle coming in here to Fayetteville, but Texas starting to fade. They need wins from just about everyone to stay in contention, so it really is coming down now to Wisconsin versus Florida State.
It does. I think Wisconsin right now has a slight edge. Anything can happen in this very difficult, challenging event where athletes are taxed to the max. Wisconsin has terrific points that they, I think, can get in the 3,000 meters. Chris Zielinski already won the 5. He comes back in the 3. And I think with Florida State, again, a very deep, well-rounded team that can score points all the way to the last event, the men's 4x400-meter relay.
All right, let's take a look at the points as they stand right now with lots of events still remaining. Wisconsin is up by 5 points over a group of 4, including Auburn, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Florida State, as we mentioned. And on the women's side, it is already very tight between the 2 top contenders, Arizona State and LSU, just separated by a point, with Tennessee and Georgia chasing. Next, Michigan's Nicole Edwards lines up in the women's mile. And the Texas men have high points hopes riding on their miler, Lionel Manzano.